welcome to the place where you, the atheist, can watch a video by me, the Christian. We can have these conversations that it's not a debate. I don't respond to comments that actually seem like they're intending a debate. The focus of these videos is to find out what can we actually agree on despite the obvious differences. Well, let's focus on what actually makes us connect and relate to each other. And this is one I think that I feel that you as the individual atheist can probably agree with me. So here you go. Here's how I feel in my life. I feel, in regards to myself, I am not a good person. I also feel I'm not a bad person. I feel I am a person. And I feel that way about all people. I don't think that there are necessarily just good and bad people. I think there are people, and some people are known for the bad decisions they make because those bad decisions hurt other people. Meanwhile, other people are known more so for their good decisions that help other people. And so there's this sense of, well, that person's a good person because they've done all these good things, and this person's a bad person because they did these things. But I think as we look at those extremes of perceived saints and sinners, I think the rest of us are actually in between, despite our faith, despite me being a Christian and you being atheist. Despite that, on a moral sense, just by that alone, I don't believe in good or bad people. Now, granted, I feel this is not, it's not in conflict with my faith, because you can imagine, I believe we're born sinners and I am saved by grace, by God's grace. But that doesn't mean that I'm a good person now. It just means that I'm saved by God's grace because we're all born sinners. So I still don't put myself in the category of good person. And I think that's one of the things that holds a lot of people back in life in general, which if you've been watching my videos about my own existential crisis, my newest series, I've talked about how around the age of 35 is when I started realizing that my life was being held back because ultimately I thought that I was a good person. And I thought that if I was a good person, that I should be respected, that people should not disrespect me. They should show me the respect that I deserve, and that good things should happen to me because I deserve them because I'm a good person. I don't deserve bad things. That's for bad people. I deserve good things because I'm a good person. And I think I still believe that in the back of my mind, at least. I totally don't believe that now. And not only do I not see myself as a good or a bad person, but as I've already mentioned, that's how I see other people too. I have no desire to judge other people and think, well, I may not be a good or a bad person, but that person, they are a bad person. For me, it's all a story of redemption. I personally believe that we are accountable to God in the end for our lives. And He alone can be the judge of that. I have no desire to be a judge of other people. I think that's really just a sense of pride. For me, one of the most obvious sins that a person can be involved in is pride. So those are my thoughts on that. Can you agree with the general concept? I know I've mentioned some specifically religious things that I personally believe, but that's not the focus. The focus of this video is, can you agree that people are not good or bad? There's not a sense of, but I'm a good person. No, you're not. You're living in pride if you believe that you're a good person. Because if you believe you're a good person, you believe that you deserve good things. And I'm so aware, and I think for a lot of people pre-age 35, they still have that thing in their mind. Why do bad things happen to good people? Because there's not good people. They don't exist. Bad things happen, and then there are people. And people who are known for good things often experience those bad things. And then there's those people that are perceived as bad, and maybe they don't run into those bad things, but still, I don't deserve anything for thinking that I'm a good person, and neither should anyone else, because that it only limits us it keeps us from being able to really go through those necessary fires, those necessary challenges. I say fire because in the Bible I feel a lot of times that a fire is a symbol of a person finding redemption and really kind of overcoming their struggles. You know, for me, so much of what's gotten to me where I'm in life to get me to the point where I'm making videos about having an existential crisis, which I am. And if you want to check out more of that, check out those videos. But I was talking to, I guess, who you could call one of my mentors this past weekend, and telling him the things that I've lived through in life and how even just in a matter of a few years, I went from being largely in debt to now I have a lot of money going to savings and investment in a short amount of time. I even was unemployed for 6 months in between that gap. So such extremes that I've gone through. And even years ago, just mistakes that I've made, things that I've learned the hard way, though I thought I was doing the right thing. But I feel that those things toughen you up and make you stronger and make you less reliable on the concept of you believing that you deserve things because you think that you're a good person doing the right thing. So I think that ultimately it's about that character arc, about that redemption, about a person not necessarily becoming a good person, but a person becoming a better person. All of us becoming better people. And I believe that that's definitely part of the human experience. I believe if we don't encounter those experiences in life that really just scare us, but also cause us for our identities to be reinvented, and again, for a character arc to be forced upon us, I think that keeps us from living the human experience. When one of my favorite shows, Lost, I feel like that's ultimately what the show was. None of these characters were, I mean, if I really thought about it, I could probably think of some minor characters that would fall in the category, but for the most part, every character you saw on Lost was flawed. And the more episodes you watched and the more flashbacks you watched of them, you realized how flawed they were and that ultimately they were trying to work those issues out. You also saw the times that they extended grace and mercy to other people. And for those people who were seen more of as villains, like Saeed or Sawyer, for example, often it was easier to see them as villains at first. As the seasons went on, you realized, wow, they actually went through a lot of tough stuff in life, and they were able to overcome it. And ultimately, it was their story of redemption. I think the show Lost, all 6 seasons, while it's not perfect, and I would say that Lost would be a better show had they known what they were doing from the beginning, and it had only been 3 seasons instead of 6, it would have been flawless. But ultimately, you look at it as a show of the human experience. How can we become better people than we are already, knowing that all of us have what I'm going to call wounds. We've all been wounded by something that happened to us in life, whether it was something another person did to us or just, again, the human experience. I mean, even as something as simple and boring as, I went to college, I was tens of thousands of dollars in debt, I paid it off, and now finally my career is making sense now, and now I'm making the money that I tried to for so long despite being in tens of thousands of deaths. Like, I can imagine just so many people who go to med school are in that situation. Like, I know a guy who was in med school for most of the time I've known him, and now that he's out of med school and he's a doctor, it's interesting because it's not like that solved all his problems. It's that, well, now he's got this big house in a very expensive part of the city, and he's still got all these debt issues. And I think that's interesting where I'm at in my existential crisis that I feel that I'm going through. Well, I've got a lower overhead in my life, so now that more money's coming in, it's a matter of, okay, well, what do I do now? How can I become a better person? So if that sounds interesting to you at all, you're welcome to check out my videos about my perceived millennial existential crisis. We'll see if anybody even watches those videos, but it's very therapeutic for me to watch this. And granted, it's very therapeutic for me to make these videos, even these videos for atheists. I think it's a good challenge for me to think, hey, there are people out there who are atheists who can benefit from some of the psychology that I'm sorting through right now, with no attempts to convert them to Christianity, no interest whatsoever in debating, but what can we find in common? I think that's interesting, maybe a bit ironic and unexpected. and unusual on YouTube. In an environment where the whole thing is you're supposed to tell the other person how wrong they are or ignorant or moral. And I'm saying, no, we're both people here. We believe different things, but ultimately there's a lot of things that we agree on. And hopefully one of the things we can agree on is we're not good people. We're not bad people. We're people experiencing life. But as individuals, part of our character arc is to become a better version of ourselves. Can we agree on that? Your comments belong right here.